Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. The tragic suicide of VG Siddhartha, the dynamic founder of Cafe Coffee Day, has once again brought the Income Tax Department into focus, and it is at the receiving end of severe criticism. In his last letter, which is like a dying declaration, and which sadly the Income Tax Department disputes in bad taste, in that letter, Siddhartha clearly says that it is because the Income Tax Department attached his shares on two different occasions that he faced such a liquidity crisis that all his avenues of raising funds were closed down. Liquidity is the lifeline of a business. It is like oxygen to a body. And just as even a healthy body will die if you cut off oxygen supply to it, so is the case of cutting off supply of liquidity, funds, money to even an existing running profitable business. It will suffer, it might close down. Siddhartha also mentions in his letter that his assets were much more than his liabilities. The question that comes is that if his assets were much more than his liabilities, then why did the Income Tax Department not attach his fixed, illiquid but very valuable assets like land and building in order to secure the interests of the department in respect of those disputed income tax demands that Siddhartha was facing? And why did it instead choose to attach his liquid assets, because of which attachment irreparable, fatal hardship and harm has got caused to him? The fact remains is that VG Siddhartha was at the receiving end of an income tax raid somewhere in September 2017. The department alleges that it was found in the raid that he had evaded income tax on income running into a few hundred crores. Income tax demands of a few hundred crores would have been raised on him, and reports say that those demands are in appeal, they have been challenged by him. The question that comes is that it is a known fact that Income Tax Department tends to lose most of its income tax cases in appeal. Courts strike down orders, they very often cancel the demand raised, or they significantly reduce the income tax demand that was raised on a person. And this is particularly seen in raid cases. From the time a raid takes place and the department claims that there has been huge tax evasion, to the time that these cases are decided in courts, the demand significantly diminishes. In such a case, what is the justification for the department to attach those assets of a person which harm his business, which harm his liquidity? The department is very well welcome to attach illiquid assets which, if attached, are not going to harm the interest of the taxpayer, but which will adequately secure the interests of the taxpayer. That is very legitimate. But why attach those assets which will kill the very goose that lays the golden egg? The Income Tax Department is a body that is so powerful that if it gets on recovery mode, the might of the recovery cannot be stopped. Its coercive, harsh recovery measures are such that few can withstand it. And when this happens, when coercive recovery of liquid assets happens of a running business, you can be sure it closes down or it diminishes significantly. This kind of an attachment of assets in case of demands which are disputed, which are in the process of being decided by courts, is where the problem lies. This kind of attachment, again, is not in the long-term interest of the department itself. The department is concerned with collecting taxes, and only if a unit is prospering, a taxpayer is making profits, will it be liable to and will it be capable of paying taxes. So, by this kind of a detachment of liquid assets which suffocate a business, which cause it such hardship that the business diminishes or closes down, is not in the interest of the revenue itself, then why these kind of attachments? It all has to do with the tax targets that are set. The Income Tax Department is a highly trained professional body. It consists of brilliant, competent, capable officers, but today this very department has been subsumed by the political masters. It is the Neta finance minister who sets tax collection targets. these tax collection targets, as we see, are completely disconnected from the real economy. The tax collection targets which are set by the Neta and are very willingly or readily or without a protest accepted by the income tax department have got no connect with the ground reality, as we have been witnessing year after year. And when these kind of targets are set for collection, indiscriminate, reckless measures do get initiated for collection of taxes only to meet those very unrealistic, impractical targets which were set by the Neta and which were not protested to by the income tax department. Take the current situation. In the last financial year, which is financial year 2018-19, the tax collection target was not met by the income tax department. There was a shortfall of about 70,000 crores in collection of taxes by the department versus the target which was set by the Neta finance minister. Despite that, and despite the continued slowdown in the Indian economy, this year's tax collection target has been increased by 20%. The economy is expected to grow this year at most by 6.5%, and tax collection targets have been increased by 20%. What was the foundation? I'm sure this professional income tax department did not set this across the board target. Sector after sector is in stress. Sectors like automobile, real estate, telecom, diamonds, jewelry, a lot of them are facing a slowdown. Corporate profits are muted and they are dipping. Where is this kind of an increased tax collection of 20% going to materialize? But despite this state of the real economy, the income tax department does not protest, the Neta prevails, and the hardship comes on the common taxpayer. So today, if the income tax department is resorting to reckless measures of tax collection, it is because it did not object to the kind of targets that were set. It did not reject them either. The officers pursue those collection targets knowing very well that their promotion and postings are going to depend on will they meet their collection targets or not. That is one of the factors. But when the economy is not doing well, how are you going to meet your collection targets? The failure of the income tax department to object to the targets set by the Neta FM is where the problem lies. The finance minister in our budget said that it is better that the elephant does not enter the rice fields, because if it does that, it will cause immense damage to the rice field itself. And she said that the elephant would be happy with the rice anyway offered to it and it would not enter the rice fields. The elephant here is the income tax department. If the FM is very sincere about this promise, what she needs to do is tone down, bring down the tax collection target which has been set for this year, because the economy is slowing down. The economy is not growing at such a rate that a tax collection target increase of 20% will be met. Only if she does that, the elephant will not enter the rice fields. Otherwise, the elephant will enter the rice fields and enterprises and entrepreneurs will die. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.